Okay, today we are going to be making our very first Photoshop file. We're going to create a background picture for our computer. So the first thing I need you to do is go down to the bottom and you're going to type in Photoshop or photo, and we'll come up and it'll say Adobe Photoshop, so go ahead and click on it. We are then going to pin it to the taskbar. So if you go over and you find the icon, you right click, and then it will say pin to taskbar. So go ahead and pin it to the taskbar because we will be using it for the next quarter. When Photoshop opens, it's going to have something like this that says new on it. So this is pretty simple and straightforward, and it's always the same pretty much every time with the exception of the size. So we're going to name this background. We're going to go down here and so you see where it says width, and it has a number and it says pixels. Now you guys don't know what pixels are just yet, so if you click on the little down arrow, it will give you the option of inches. It will change both of them to inches. And what we are going to do is we are going to make it 12 inches wide by 8 inches high and 150 resolution. It will always be 150 resolution unless I tell you differently for this class. You need to go down here to where it says background contents and click transparent. Make sure transparent is selected, and then you can go ahead and click OK. I'm just going to close these up. I didn't realize they were open, so that you only have one of them open. So these are up here would be all of the files that you have open. Now, couple things you need to know, and this is probably the biggest thing you need to know for Photoshop, is that this layers panel, it's over here, it says layers. This is probably the most important panel that you will come to. Over here is your toolbars. This is the things that can be done with Photoshop, just like in Paint. It has several different ones, and as we go through it, you'll learn all of them. Down here, this is your color boxes, just like in Paint. And you can just click on the box and you will be able to change the colors. You can also change the colors up here. So the very first thing we're going to do is go over here and we're going to open up Chrome. And we're going to go up here and we are going to type in space scene. And we're going to select the space scene wallpaper, because what we're going to do is we are making a Star Wars themed background. Yes, everybody has to make a Star Wars themed background first, and then you will have time to make your own. So you're going to click on images. And if you go over here to where it says, you see where it has all this, if you go to tools and you go to size and we click on large, you will get a bigger picture. And the bigger the picture is, the less it's going to be pixelated or blurry. We want it as clear as possible. And what we need to do is find some space scene. I'm going to choose this one right here because it has actually a place for me to put C-3PO and R2-D2 on that. Actually, you know what? I'll pick this one so that it doesn't look like they're just floating out in space. Okay, so if you click on it, and then you'll get the picture. If you right click on it and go down to copy image, then we're going to go down here to the toolbar and click on Photoshop. Now, if I left click, there is no paste. In Photoshop, you cannot left click to paste. You have two options. The first option is to go to Edit, Paste, or the second option is to hit Control V. Okay, so you will get a picture and it will come in. Hopefully it will be as big as this, and you can, then we are going to fix it from there. So as you can see over here, you can see there's going to be a border. If I was to print this picture right now, it would have the picture in the middle and it would have a white border. Well, on your background screen, we don't want that. We want the picture to fill the whole thing. So what you need to do is, you see over here, you have this little thumbnail that shows you that you're on that layer, okay? So what you need to do is you need to hit Control T. Control T means transform. Think of the Transformers, okay? So we're transforming this picture. And when that happens, you see how I got my boxes in the corner. If I put my cursor right on top of it, I can make it bigger or smaller. If I go a little bit off of it, I can turn it. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and then you're going to just click and drag so that it fills the whole screen. Now, to get rid of this box, you see how there's a box around the whole thing now? To get rid of this box, you need to hit Enter. The box is now gone. All right, so now we're going to go back and we're going to go to Chrome, and we're going to go up here and we're going to type in R2D2. We're going to go ahead and go to Images. We're going to go to Tools, Size, Large, and I want a picture of just R2D2. I do not want a picture like this that has background. You can do that in Photoshop, but for right now, we're not there yet. You haven't learned. So I just need a picture of R2D2 with just a white background, or preferably a darker background. So I'm going to pick this guy right here. So I'm going to click on it. It's going to come up. I'm going to right click. I'm going to hit Copy Image. I'm going to go down to the toolbar. I'm going to click on Photoshop. I'm going to either click Edit, Paste, or I'm going to hit Control V. Now, do you see how big R2D2 came in? So the last one came in too small and this one came in too big. But we need to transform it again. So hopefully we remember that if you hit Control T, you get your boxes and you can click and you can drag. Now here is a tip. If I drag this, I can make R2D2 really skinny, okay? And then then you have to kind of figure it out, what did he really look like. But if I hold the Shift key down while I am making it smaller, I cannot do anything except for do it in proportion. So I'm keeping him as fat as he is or as skinny as he is or whatever. So I'm going to move it down. And then if I take my cursor, you see how when I'm here, I have this, that I can turn it. If I'm here, I have my arrows to make it bigger or smaller. But if I'm here, I have this big solid black arrow. If I have that, I can click and hold and I can drag him to where I want him on my planet. I'm going to hold the Shift key down. I'm going to make him a little smaller. Yes, it's not going to be in proportion. I get it. I'm just showing you how this works. So now if I go here and let's say I want to turn him a little bit just so that he is going with the top of the planet, and then I'm going to hit Enter. All right, well, it works, except for it looks like I had a picture of a really pretty planet. I had a picture of R2-D2 and I just slapped it on there. So what I want to do is I want to take out all of this background. And to do that, I'm going to go over here, and these are my tools. And the first one is your select tool, or your move tool, and that's where you will always go back to. But we're going to go down to the 1, 2, 3rd, or the 4th one down, the 4th tool, and is called the magic wand. And if you put your cursor right on top of it, it will come up and say magic wand. So you click on it, and then it's very cool. I go over here, I click, I get all of these dancing ants. Do you see these dancing ants? All right, I get these dancing ants. I'm going to go to the keyboard and I'm going to click the backspace button. And it goes away. Now, to get rid of the dancing ants, I have to hit Control D for deselect. If I go up here to my move tool, so I click on my move tool, now I've got my solid black arrow. I go here and I still have a little bit left of R2-D2 over here. So I'm going to go back to my magic wand tool and I'm going to click again. And I'm going to go to the keyboard and I'm going to click backspace. I'm going to hit Control D and it goes away. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to hit backspace, Control D, and it goes away. And that's about as far as I'm going to go for right now. If you select something and it selects part of it, the reason all the magic wand tool is doing is selecting every color that is the exact same color that touches it. So it does not matter that it's part of R2-D2. It has no way of knowing that. It is only looking at color, and this color here is the same color as this. So that's why that won't work. So we're just going to leave it alone for right now and hit Control D. Now you say, oh, well, I want to do that. I want to take out this sun. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on the sun, but nothing happens. The sun does not get selected. The reason being is that you are on R2-D2 right now. Do you see how there's your little R2-D2 right there? And then you have this eyeball. So if I click on this eyeball, I can hide. I'm not deleting him. I'm hiding R2-D2. If I click on it, it comes back. To get rid of the dancing ants, you hit Control D. So now if I go to my scene, my background scene, and I click on the sun, I could then take that out if I wanted to. I don't. But I wanted to show you that layers are independent. I have a layer that has only this on it, and I have a layer that has only this on it. This is the most important thing that you will know about Photoshop. Now, to get it to come back like I just did, if you hit Control Z, it will come back. If you have to go more than one step, you hit Control Alt Z and it will go back as many as you need to. So now I have this and I have right now I have this selected. So to deselect it, I'm going to hit Control D. I'm going to go over here to my selection move tool. I'm going to click and I'm going to bring R2-D2 down to wherever it is that I want him. I'm going to do the same thing with C3PO. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to type in C3PO and I'm going to hit images, go over here to tools, size, large, and I'm going to find one that has a pretty solid background, whichever, whatever pose you want him to have. Well, that's a costume, so we don't want that one. We'll go with this one. Okay, so we're going to right click. We're going to say copy image. We're going to go back to Photoshop. we're going to either hit Edit, Paste, or Control V. Now I have C3PO. So I want to hit Control T to transform him. I'm going to hold the Shift key so that he comes down. I'm going to turn him so that he's probably the same way as R2-D2. I can move him to wherever I want as long as I have my dark black arrow. I'm going to hit Enter to get these boxes to go away. I'm going to go down here to the fourth one. I'm going to select the gray and I'm going to delete it. I now have C3PO and R2-D2 on a background. So now it looks like they kind of could be there. Yes, I know it's out of proportion, but I'm showing you the process. So we're going to save it now. There are two ways to save Photoshop documents. Well, there's many ways, but the two that we will use the most is if you go to File, Save As, and we're going to go over here to our DA1 folder. You should already have your Unit 2 folder made. You double click on Unit 2, and you see how it came up and it said background.psd, and it is a Photoshop document. If you want to keep all of these layers so that you could go back tomorrow, come in, and you could decide that, oh, I want to move him over here, and I want to change him, okay? Or if I want to change him and put him up here. If you do not save it as a Photoshop document, which is File, Save As, Photoshop Document, it will not be there. So we're going to save it as a Photoshop document. But to put it as our background of our computer, we have to have it as a JPEG. So we're going to go back and we're going to go to File, Save As, and then we're going to see where it says Photoshop document down here. We're going to click on it, and we're going to go down to where it says JPEG, 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 JPE. Okay, so JPEG is a format that is very common on the computers or on the web. You click on that, and then you hit Save. This will come up, and for right now, whatever it says, just say OK. We can minimize this. We can minimize this. All right. So now what you're going to do, see my pretty dog that I have here as my background? I'm going to go to my Digital Arts 1 folder. I'm going to go to my Unit 2 folder. I'm going to go to the picture that I just made. It should say background.jpg. You should also have one that says background.psd. But on the one that says JPG, you're going to right-click and say Set as Desktop Background. I now have the background that I just created. If you get done with this, you can go ahead and work on doing your own, play with it, see what you can figure out, and then we will be moving on to our first project, which will be making your own shoe.